And Muriel, would you please start us off?
Sure. Good morning. It's so nice to see so many faces on our screen this morning. You may be in the afternoon or evening. I'm not sure where you're coming from. But the Ezra Bessaroth Ladies Auxiliary Sephardic Learning Kitchen is, and our presenter today is Rita Scavi, and she's making our Persian rice. And I'm sorry, Rita, but I don't know how to pronounce that other word. So I hope you all enjoy the class. We've got about 50 some people on the class right now, and take it away, Rita.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining. It's very nice to have a chance to demonstrate my Persian rice. It's basmati rice. We were talking about basmati rice with potato tahdig. Tahdig is actually literally, it means in Farsi, the bottom of the pot. In fact, I have a book here. It's the bottom of the pot, and there are many wonderful recipes in case anyone is interested. This is a sack of rice that comes in different forms. It comes in a sack, it comes in a bag, it comes, anyway, it's basmati rice. And basmati rice is a better rice. It's longer grains, and it's got a, what do you call it? Oh, it's nice fragrance. Okay, I had asked the people who were going to be cooking with me to soak 3 cups of rice in advance. I have here 3 cups of soaked rice, which I've soaked them this morning, just like half an hour ago. And I put like a little bit of salt in it. And now I will be boiling water. And in interest of time, I started boiling the water because I wanted to go a little faster. Here is, I think it's away. Okay, the water is now boiling, and I'm going to put salt. Moving the top and putting in the salt. And I just eyeball it. It says like a 1/4 cup of salt, but you can eyeball it, and I do this. And I don't know if you saw how much salt, but it's about a 1/4 cup. Now I will take this bowl that I have the soaking rice in, and I'm going to drain it. And I'm going to put the rice in the salted water and add even more salt. No, I don't need to add more salt. Persian rice is prepared in two-step procedure. First, we parboil the rice, drain it, and then we steam the rice so that it cooks properly. I'm just waiting for okay. It's gonna start boiling, and once you see it boiling and you see the rice kind of popping, you have to kind of taste the 1 or 2 grains of the rice. It should be soft on the outside and have a bite on the inside. You will know it's ready. It kind of turns a little translucent as well. And after the rice is ready to drain it, I have a colander here. I'll drain it in the sink and run some water over it to wash out the salt and the starch. I started the show without telling you where I am. I happen to be in Los Angeles. This is my mother's kitchen. It's a small kitchen, but a lot of wonderful food is prepared here. She loves to entertain, and she loves to feed people, and she does a lot in this kitchen. I'm originally from Iran. I was born and raised in Iran and came to the States in '76. And so I've been here many, many years. I still prepare a lot of Persian food on Shabbat. It's this rice is called the white rice, plain white rice is called chelo. If you've heard of chelo kebab, it's right. It's you prepare the rice and have kebabs with it or stew over it, vegetable stews or meat and vegetable stews. So.
Rita,
Yeah.
if you have a second, there's a couple questions already.
Sure.
First, if you could, you mentioned something earlier, but people were still logging on, why you soak the rice, and also what kind of rice can be used. For example, could you use short grain or pearl rice in place of basmati?
The best kind of rice is really basmati rice because it's longer grain and it cooks better. It's flavorful. It's got a really nice flavor to it. Yes, you want to bring the camera here because the rice is beginning to boil and bubble.
And maybe you can describe what it is you're looking for to know when it's ready.
Okay, it's the rice is going to be popping up.
So it's
jumping.
surface.
Yeah, it's coming to the surface as you see. Can you see it?
Yes, thank you.
It's still not ready.
Okay.
Once it's ready, once you feel it's ready, you kind of take a grain and taste it. Still a few more minutes. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes for it to be ready.
And you were saying earlier that you want the outside a little bit soft and the inside firm, sort of
Right.
like a little bit of.
Like pasta al dente. Oh, you asked about soaking. The reason why we soak the rice is to start the absorption process and let it grow a little bit, and it cooks evenly when it's soaked. Okay, I think maybe now it's almost ready. Another minute. Okay, I'm going to start running the water. Turn it off. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to let the rice drain really well. And as I'm waiting for the rice to drain, I'm going to peel the potato. I'm going to ask Natalie to peel the potato.
Hi everyone.
My assistant,
Potatoes already washed. Just gonna peel it and chop it. And the potato, or even if you don't use a potato, it's usually the best part. It's the most sought after part of the rice. At the bottom, it's crispy and oily and delicious.
And here is some saffron, which I put in some hot water earlier to put over the rice and over the potato.
how thick do you want it to cut?
About a 1/4 inch.
This way?
One,
This way? 1/4 inch?
something about saffron. I looked it up. It says the saffron is a spice derived from the flower of crocus sativus, and it's used mainly as seasoning and a coloring agent for food. Okay, now this is all cut up. I'm going to put some salt it a little bit. And now,
Rita,
yeah.
it sounds like there's a few people who are cooking along and are just a little bit behind because they were waiting for the water to boil. And I'm wondering if you can use this time to just explain some of the ingredients you're using, like the saffron. In your recipe, you talk about ground saffron, and maybe you can describe some of the different about saffron, what it does in terms of flavor, color, and then also what you're looking for in terms of buying the saffron.
Usually I get saffron in Persian stores, but they have it at Trader Joe's. They have a little bit, and it's a very expensive spice. So it comes in threads, and the way I use it, I kind of warm it in the oven for 2 minutes, put it in the oven, put it in an aluminum foil, and then I crush it with a little bit of sugar. It comes in threads, and I do have some. Actually, it's in my room. It's mainly for seasoning and for the color. It gives it a beautiful color, and it gives it also a nice flavor.
And then once you grind it with the sugar, do you put it in the oil? Is that how you make the saffron oil?
You put it in hot water.
Oh, hot water. Okay.
A little bit of hot water and a pinch of saffron will give you this. It's a really beautiful color. It's almost 0.3 ounces. This was a very good deal. I got it for $30, but it's a lot more expensive than this normal. It's one of the most expensive spices, more expensive than gold, as my daughter says. Are we ready now to move on?
Yes, before we go on, maybe you can talk about what kind of potato it was that you used.
Oh, okay. It can be either a russet potato or a Yukon. You peel it and you just wash it and salt it a little bit so that it has flavor. This is going to be at the bottom of the pot. So when you turn the pot over, the potatoes will be on top. And if it's done right, it will be crispy and delicious.
All right, thank you.
By the way, this rice is called, as I told you, chelo. In Iran, I'll tell you a story. In Iran, we used to go to chelo kebab restaurant. They serve only chelo kebab. Chelo is rice with kebab. They used to bring us steaming rice with kebab on the side, and we'd break a raw egg, and it would cook in the steam of the rice, and it was delicious.
Just a year.
Okay, now I think we're gonna put the oil in the pot. Are we ready? Okay, this is an empty pot. I'm gonna be putting oil in it and putting the potatoes over it.
It looks like it might be a non-stick pot, Rita.
Yes, non-stick Teflon pot. That's the rice pot. It's very good. It always comes out someplace. It doesn't stick, and that's what you need for rice.
Somebody's asking about the age of the saffron. Does saffron have a shelf life?
I'm not sure.
It does have a shelf life,
It does? My daughter says it
but
does.
I don't know what it is. It probably would say on the package.
Yeah, well, I have so much saffron that I haven't started using it. Okay, I'm gonna measure a quarter cup of oil. Okay. Okay. I'm putting the potato. You put it single layer and close together. Usually one potato is enough. And if you have more, you can put it on the sides. Okay. Now I'm putting it on the stove and turning it on for a minute or two. I'm putting it on medium high, and I will, after I put the rice, I will turn it up on higher until it starts steaming.
Rita, oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Rita, there's been a few questions about salt. Measurement, like how much salt, and also the kind of salt. Like, would you recommend like a coarse salt, a kosher salt?
Kosher salt is good. Kosher salt is not as salty as this iodized salt, Morton salt. It's not iodized, but still. Oh, okay, I'm going to put some. And how much, it depends how much salt you like. But what I just did earlier, I put a lot of salt in the boiling water. And when I drained it, I washed out the salt. I ran a lot of water over it so it doesn't, so the rice doesn't come out salty. And now I'm going to turn it lower. Okay, I'm scattering the rice over the potato.
Similar to pasta, the rice is in the water for such a short amount of time that that's the only flavor it's going to absorb. So you want your rice to be salty, your water to be salty, but not too salty.
I hope I ran enough water. I'm making 3 holes. I'm putting the rest of the saffron over the and for good measure, I'm going to put a little bit more oil in it. Okay, now I'm going to wait for the rice to steam. As soon as it steams, I will cover it with a towel. Okay, now I'm just going to make this is a kitchen towel I'm going to prepare to cover the lid with after it steams. Yeah, the reason why I cover the lid is so that all the steam stays in the pot and it helps cook the rice. Are there any questions now?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions about the type of oil that you use.
Okay.
And also, if you can explain again about the saffron water, how to make the saffron water and
Oh,
when
okay.
to add it.
Okay. the type of oil I use, vegetable oil, I usually, this is canola or rapeseed oil, any kind of oil that you use at home, not olive oil, of course. And the saffron comes in red. I'll take it. Okay,
Here.
so you just put some hot water, not boiling water, but hot water. You put hot water over like a pinch of saffron and let it sit for a few minutes, and it will be ready. And this kind of rice, the first step, parboiling it, is always done. And it depends on the food that you want to make. You can add different things to the rice and let it steam with that. For example, these are mulberries. What are they?
Barberries.
Oh, barberries. These are barberries. I soak them and wash them, clean them and wash them, and saute them with oil and saffron. And then I mix it with parboiled rice and steam it, and it turns out really delicious. That's one way. And we also use a lot of herbs. We clean and chop herbs like dill and parsley and cilantro and chives, and mix them all together and mix it with the rice. Okay, it's steaming. Turn it low. Cover the lid and put it firmly over the pot. And you just let it sit for like 40, 50 minutes, and you'll have a beautiful rice. On low, a little over medium low.
There's a couple questions about oil and the pot. So why not olive oil is a question. And also, what do you do if you don't have a nonstick pot?
It would be very difficult without a nonstick pot, because the rice would stick to it and it's hard to get off. So the best kind of pot is a nonstick pot. And the oil, why not olive oil? I think it's just lighter and it's flavor. Olive oil has its own flavor. So just a plain vegetable oil would be better.
All right.
And now we can turn over the other pot. I made, okay, I'm going to ask Martina to go through this really.
Martina?
I have a problem with my shoulder, so I'm going to have someone who is stronger than me flip over the pot.
One of our guests called Sarah did a little bit of research on the internet and put in the chat a little note about the shelf life of saffron. And it looks like it's at its peak for 2 to 3 years.
Oh, okay.
And then add more as it loses its strength and flavor.
Yeah, now we're going to flip over the rice. Oh, wow. 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 I'm sorry, it's burnt once again. This is not the stove I usually work with. And so I'm not familiar with it as well. I have an electric stove at home.
But usually
it's like it's brown and it's like really beautiful. I'm sorry, I feel terrible. The other one is also, I did the same thing. Yeah, it's supposed to be really pretty yellow. Anyway, you just have to cross your fingers and hope for the best. But I honestly don't know how to work with the gas stove.
Okay, the rest of the rice still tastes good.
The rice is really good. It tastes good, and it came all in one piece.
So what's the trick? What are some of the pitfalls when you're flipping the pan?
You just cross your fingers and pray for the best. And you flip it. Sometimes it falls out. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't come out whole. It sticks to the one or two of the potatoes stick to the pot. But yeah, a lot of times they come out good.
Use enough oil.
Yeah, use like a 1/4 cup oil. It should be good. Oh gosh. Anyway, I'm sorry this didn't turn out the way I was hoping it would.
But
But
hopefully yours turns out better.
I'm hoping yours will turn out better. So don't put it on too high. Don't put but it has to still get the right color.
There's because saffron is such an unusual ingredient for so many people, there's a lot of questions about the saffron. So if you can talk a bit about where most of the flavor for the rice comes from, if it's from the saffron, and then exactly how to prepare the saffron water and when to add it.
Okay, you can just add the saffron water. If I were doing it for myself, I wouldn't even use potatoes because the rice, when the rice gets crispy, it's just as yummy. The saffron water is, you just put some saffron in hot water, just a pinch of saffron and a little bit of water, like I don't know, like 2 tablespoons of water. And it should be good. And the other question?
When you add it, do you add it to the oil at the bottom or on top?
You can just make your rice, just plain white rice, and then just take some of the rice before you flip it over and put the saffron in it so that it gets really a nice color, and you put it over the rice. So I'm going to cut this up and see, in fact, because I put some saffron at the...
Is there any way to check on the rice as you're cooking it with the towel on the lid? Or if you pick it up and look at it, will you be...
It's not a good idea to do that because the steam is what's cooking the rice.
So you just have to put it down and practice a little bit maybe.
Yeah, just leave it. And also, yeah, once you put the towel on, and also before it steams, don't pick it up. Don't pick up the lid because it might take the steam away, and you want it to steam at once.
And you said that the towel, if someone doesn't use the towel, does that mean that there's less of a seal around the lid and more steam escapes?
Possibly, yeah. It's best to be sure you can. I've done it without using a towel. It turns out pretty okay. Other than, wow, it tastes good. It's the salt that helps the taste. So.
All right. Well, if anyone would like to ask any more questions, please do. And oh, here's how long did you say to steam? Once you parboil the rice, put it in the pot, lid it with the towel. How long do you expect for it to steam?
About 30 to 40 minutes.
30 to 40 minutes. Okay.
In fact, when did I start this rice? I'm wondering if it's ready. I'm hoping it won't be as bad.
Here, you want to try it?
Let me try
You
to.
don't make and talk.
And Rita, before you covered it with the towel, did you wait for the steam to start rising? Was that it? Instead of just putting the towel.
After you parboil the rice and you're steaming it, you cover it and put it on high. Once it steams, you turn it down on low.
Once it starts Okay, once it starts steaming. Got it. Ooh,
It is stuck
So
a little
the
bit.
color is better here. You can see the saffron color,
And the
but
potatoes,
the potato is stuck on this one. It's a little tricky. But you can see how yummy the potatoes look.
it could have stayed a little bit longer to.
Rita,
Yeah.
it's Jeannie Myman. I have a comment to make to you. I don't know if you know Yosef Haridim, but he used to live in Seattle, and he taught me how to make this rice.
Oh, really? Okay.
And at the time, I didn't have any saffron, and he told me to use turmeric. And it's very tasty with turmeric if you don't have saffron.
Really?
I'm just,
Gives you a good color as well. But I've never.
yes.
used-
And I've never put potatoes on the bottom, but I always get a nice, the rice itself always is very nice color, like your second thing here, you know. And the turmeric has a very nice taste if people don't want to buy saffron.
Okay.
So that's just a comment.
Use turmeric.
Rita,
know.
there's another question about cooking the last stage of steaming the rice. If you can put it in the oven instead of putting on the stove, instead of having it on low in the stove, what if you put it in the oven on low?
Honestly, I've never put it on low. This is my granddaughter, Arya. I've never put it in the oven, except, Arya, can you come here? I've never cooked it in this oven, but I'm sure there are ways of cooking it in the oven. You can, what I do is I cook it just the way I'm cooking it now, and I put it in a Pyrex in the oven.
Ah. So you put it, so you parboil the rice and then line a Pyrex and then put that in the oven? Maybe you can describe that a little bit.
I would cook the rice just like I'm cooking it now, and then put it in a Pyrex in the oven. But it has to steam. The best way to have the rice come out just right is to parboil it and then steam it.
Very good. Maybe with the time that we have remaining, you can describe the variations of Tahdig. So you've talked about just the plain, just parboiling the rice and putting it, and then the potato.
Have very thin bread, lavash. That can be a Tahdig, and I think rice itself. Tahdig is just the bottom of the pot, and you can put whatever you like. I can't think of anything. I mean, I've always done it either with potato or just the rice itself. The different kinds of rice I make, plain rice is not what I usually make. I usually add either herbs with it or lentils, and I cook lentils, and I saute onions. My mother puts carrots.
And is that, would you make a Tahdig out of that mixed rice with herbs or lentils? Can you do that?
You can, yeah. It's just like the rice Tahdig, but it's got like the herbs with it.
And so with the lentils, would you cook the lentils first and then
Yes.
mix it with the parboiled rice and then make a Tahdig?
Is you cook the lentils, and you caramelize onions. You mix the lentils with the onions, and then after you parboil, you mix it with the rice and you steam it with the rice.
And so would the lentils cook at the same time?
The lentils are already cooked.
With the onions?
Yeah, with the onion. You cook them separately, and then you add them to the caramelized onions.
Very good.
Am I being clear, or is it difficult?
No, I think people can ask questions. I think we're making everybody hungry.
Yeah, and you can have this with either with kebab or with stew. Yeah.
And we have a request for a future instruction, Rita, for you to make a lentil and stew recipe to go along with the tahdig.
Oh, okay. The rice will be, the lentil rice will be just like the rice, and we can make a stew with it alongside.
Yes. And Jamila adds that she has made tahdig in the oven, the lower third of the oven, in an oven covered pot, and it comes out great.
Wonderful. Yeah, Jamila has a lot of great recipes herself.
Yeah. Now, what kind of herbs would you mix in with the rice?
Okay, I usually get dill, lots of dill, chives, parsley, and cilantro. I wash them really well and dry them. And actually, I put them on a table to dry. And then when they're nice and dry, I chop them, or either in a Cuisinart or by hand, and have them all together, and then mix them with the parboiled rice and steam it that way.
And about how much would you use for that much rice?
I use a lot. My rice turns green. I call it green rice. They call it the green rice. So I like it like 3 bunches of dill and 2 bunches of parsley and cilantro, and 1 bunch of chives.
And so altogether, how much volume would you say? A couple cups, maybe 2 cups of chopped herb?
Yeah, I use 2.5 cups. It's as much rice as there is herbs.
Wow. Okay, that's fantastic.
And you need a pretty good sized pot.
Wonderful. Well, if there are no more questions, please feel free to unmute yourselves and have a chat. And
since we are here 4 generations, I'd like to introduce my mother and my daughters and my granddaughters. And that would be fine with everybody. Mom, can you come? Here's my mother. Yes, you come. Arya, this is the 4th generation.
Someone's been wanting to get on screen.
oh, wonderful. And Roxana, I think, is logged in. So you have everyone.
She's not here.
I'm not in Los Angeles right now, but I'm still there watching. You know, my mom's Tahdig is the best Shabbat dinner. It's so good.
Yeah, she makes rice every Shabbat.
Okay, thank you very much for watching me. I hope I've answered your questions, and I hope your rice turns out much better than mine.
Can we see the rice that people cook, whoever's cooking over there?
Right?
Yeah, let them share.
I'd love to see who made it.
To put on the chat the link where you all can see a recording of Rita's demonstration in case you logged in late. Oops. And also you can see some of the other instructional videos that Bessaroth has hosted. Next month, the Learning Kitchen will be presenting Muelos for Hanukkah with Dahlia. So we hope we'll see you all there. And here is the recipe for Tahdig again. Tahdig. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you, Rita.
Good to see you all. Bye-bye.
Love
Good to
you.
see you. Has anyone cooked? I want to see who cooked it. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to have you over and cook it for you. It doesn't work here.
Oh, most delicious looking. Thank you.
My stove.
Thank you from Portland, Oregon. We love you.
Love
Thank
you
you from
too.
Los Angeles. Thank you from New York.
Thank you from Israel.
Oh,
Yay, Israel.
fantastic.
Hi.
Hi, Rita.
Yay. Bye.
Ilana.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too. You see our, are you jumping around?
Yeah.
Thank you from Virginia.
Thank you from Alabama.
Thank you.
I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Thank you from Palo Alto.
Hi,
Where's
Roxana.
Roxana?
Oh, yeah.
She was shy.
Nice.
Roxana.
Didn't want to say hi too. Wait. This is Ezra.
Ah,
Hi.
The whole kitchen's so full.
Okay. Ah. Hi, Roxana.
Okay.
Yeah.
did you make it, Jeannie?
All right. Thank you
Oh,
for joining.
Thank you for joining. We're gonna leave now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rita, and all the family.
Now I have to try to make this. It's going to be my next task. Thank you, Rena.